Hi, Mike, and welcome back to Entrepreneurcast. It's so great to have you back on the show.
It's wonderful to be here, Svietlana, and it's lovely to see you again.
So, Mike, today we are talking about sales, conscious sales. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I know personally a lot of people who literally say, I hate selling. And me, myself, I used to say exactly the same thing. In fact, I took specifically a job for 2 months just to train to sell, to go from door to door, to do phone calls, cold phone calls, and I used to hate it. Absolutely hate it. And I'm pretty sure there are millions of people who also hate selling. So tell us all about the conscious sales.
Yeah, I think this is a very good question. You know, when I was a child, my mother used to say to me, Svietlana, whatever you do, don't become a salesperson. It's the lowest job on the planet. So she imprinted me really badly, because I realized when I was about 18 or 19 that actually everything on the planet's sales, yet I didn't want to do it. So it became really tough. So I had to really re-educate myself. So I personally went through a process of learning features and benefits, selling and all of that sort of thing, and then doing that and going through the school of hard knocks sort of thing, to a point whereby I realized that selling is actually so easy. It's actually really easy. And it's easy if you do it from a conscious viewpoint with the other person in mind. So most people go into a sales meeting thinking, I've got to sell this, I've got to sell this, I've got to sell this. If you just shift perspective, selling becomes the most fun game in the whole world. And actually now I really enjoy it. Would you like to know more?
Yes, please.
Are you curious?
That's questions, right? You're asking the questions. You're trying to get the answer out of me. So that's the beginning of sales, isn't it?
Are you going to run to the back of the room yet and buy my product? Actually, I'm going to role play this with you, because this will be a really fun exercise for people to see. So let's imagine you and I, we're just going to reverse this call, and it's now going to be a sales call. So you've agreed to have a meeting with me to have a look at my product or service, okay? So this is how I'd treat it. I'd say, hi, Svietlana, it's great that we can meet today. And we've got probably about 4 minutes to go through this. So it's going to be really, really, really quick. I'd like to ask you, there's so many things you could be doing today. Why did you decide to meet with me out of all the things you could be doing?
I just was curious what you have to offer.
Okay, cool. And what specifically was it that you were hoping that I could do for you?
Better service for lower price.
Okay, yeah, cool, great. So better service for lower price. Is it okay if I ask you some questions just to really get to understand you a little bit better?
Sure.
Okay, so you don't have to answer these questions because we're just role playing, but I'm going to say, what's really going well for you at the moment? And you're going to tell me some things that are going great for you. I'm going to say, okay, in some future period, let's say 12 months, what are you really hoping to have at that stage, or be, or do? Okay, and you're going to tell me. And then I'm going to say, what are the 3 most critical issues for you right at the moment that you think's holding you back from getting there? And you're going to tell me. And this can be aligned to any product or service in the marketplace. It doesn't matter. Just change a couple of words. Then I'm going to say to you, okay, so what have you done about this before? And then you're going to tell me, and I'm going to say, how's that worked out for you? You're going to say it's crap, right? I'm going to say, okay, so if I wasn't here to help you, what would you do next? And then you're going to tell me. And then I'm going to say, okay. And now at this point here, I've listened to you for probably, 10, 20 minutes. And at this point here, this is why it's beautiful. I'm going to make a decision. And this is where the beauty and the consciousness in sales is. I'm going to decide whether I want you as my client. Or whether you're going to be more trouble than what you're worth. Now, this is where salespeople get it wrong, and this is why they don't like to sell. By the way, have I tried to sell you anything at this point?
No.
Not a thing. I haven't. Maybe you don't even know what I'm selling. I've just asked you questions. I'm just finding out about you. I'm finding out about your hopes, your dreams in a certain path or issue. I'm finding out what are the problems that have been caused there that are holding you back. And at this point, I'm going to make a decision. And my decision is going to be, do I want to move forward with this person or I don't? If I don't, I'm going to bow out gracefully at this point. That could be anything from, well, here's a brochure to maybe here's some ideas for you and bye-bye, right? And then if I decide that I really like you and that I want you as my client, then I'm going to say to you, okay, let me just recap this. You told me you wanted this and this and this. These are the current problems that you've got, etc. I'm going to say, Svietlana, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to getting where you wanted to go? Where you told me. How committed? And if you're going to give me a low score, then I'm not going to even try and sell you anything because I'm going to fail, or I'm not going to be able to deliver because you're not going to do anything that I need you to do in order to deliver it. If you give me a 9 or a 10, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say, okay, so you're really committed to this. And you say yes. And then I'm going to say, okay, let me show you what you've been doing in the past. And then I'm going to do something in sales which is called turn up the pain. I'm going to show you all the time you've wasted, all the money you've wasted trying to do this the wrong way, right? And you're going to agree because you're going to give me the numbers and we're just going to do it. And then after that, I'm going to say, would you like me to share a way in which I can help you? Very simply. And you're going to say yes. And I'm going to say to you really openly, say, if I share this idea, I want to tell you one thing before this, is that the questions I asked you were for me to understand who you were and for me to make a decision. My decision that I had to make was, do I want to pitch Svietlana my product? Because do I want her as a client? And do I actually want to deal with her? And we're at this position because I actually do. And what locked that in is you gave me a 9 out of 10 on your commitment. So I'm going to go through how we can help you. And at the end of that, I'm going to ask you for a decision. Are you okay with that? Look, you're nodding and saying yes. So then I just go through the product and service, and then I ask you for a decision. And the only objection I'm going to get there is money, and then I'm going to deal with the money objection. It takes all the sting, all the heat out of sales. You see, the reason why people can't sell is because they've been taught to sell with no integrity. They've been taught to hide behind something. They've been taught to create smoke and mirrors. They've been taught to close sales and close everybody. If they can breathe on a mirror, close them, right? Leave that in the 1880s. That's about where it's from. Leave that in the 1980s where it's from. You know, we're educated purchasers in today's market. We want to be treated as human beings. So therefore, go and ask people how they feel about things. Go and ask them what they want. Go and ask them how they want it. And if you feel you can deliver that, make a decision of whether you want them as a client. And then ask them, is it okay if I tell you what we do? And then I'll say to you, and here's the key, if I do this, then I'm going to ask you for a decision. Is that okay as well? And you're going to say yes, and I'm going to say, okay, so you're going to be able to make a decision today based on this. And if you say, no, I want to think it over, I'm going to have that objection up front and I can deal with it, right? So selling is actually a real lot of fun, because selling, the reason why people get it wrong, it's not because they can't sell, because everybody sells all the time. You know, you sell your partner on going to a particular movie or on a particular restaurant you want to go to for dinner. So you can sell, right? If you've got a partner out there in listening land, then you've sold them on you. So you can sell. You do it all the time. The fact of the matter is that you've been taught wrong. You've been taught by people who don't know how to sell, and they don't understand psychology. And they can be some of the biggest names in the world. All they've learned is techniques to break your arm, right? Whereas it's your choice who you have as a client in your business. And I want you to think about this, folks, right? If you come to me and you say to me, let's just say you run an accounting practice, and you say, Who can you think of that might be a good client for my accounting practice? I'm immediately going to think, who's the first person? No, he's got an accountant. Who's the second person? No, I think they have an accountant. No, no, they're too successful. They'll have this. I'm going to give you the dodgiest, crappiest little person that's just starting up yesterday as your new client. So therefore, even if you sell them using your tricky methods that you learned at 1980 sales school that you hate doing anyway, you're going to have a client that's not really engaged in your business, and you're going to have a client that really doesn't necessarily want to be there. But if I say to you, if you ask a different question, if you say, Mike, I only deal with people who are very successful, people who know their own mind, people who really are prepared to make differences in their lives in the area of their financial structuring, et cetera. Who do you know who's a successful person who likes financial structuring and open to different things? I'm going to give you an entirely different name of person. Then when you go to them and you use the sales technique that I just shared with you, you're going to get great clients that pay you a lot of money, and they're not going to feel like clients. They're just going to feel like an extension of your family. And that's going to make you want more and more of them. And then the person who couldn't sell is going to become addicted to sales because they're going to love this. And they're going to make a lot of money, and they're going to help a lot of people doing it.
So really, it's all about just you have to be authentic, and you have to really look into what the other person wants, needs, and whether you can deliver for them or not, and whether you like them to work with them or not, right?
Absolutely. But I want to just share the one tip on this, is that there is a process to what I did, right? The process is for you to qualify to me why you wanted to talk to me, right? That's psychology, okay? Because nobody takes 45 minutes or an hour out of their day to talk to a salesperson. And if they really want to beat themselves up, they'll talk to 3 salespeople before they make a decision, right? And then just get more confused. Nobody does that. Nobody wants to do it, right? People want to be helped, and people love to buy when they know what they want to buy to achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve, whether it be a new house or a dishwasher. It doesn't matter, or some insurances. It doesn't matter. So therefore, the first technique is to get people to qualify back to you why they're here, spending their time with you. Then the second technique is to find out what's going well for them so that you can boost them up a bit and make them feel good. And basically, before you take them down the path where things aren't working for them and where you can really help. And then the key to that is finding out how committed they are at that point in time to change. And if they're committed to change, ask them for permission to show them what you've got. And then the only other secret I didn't share with you is you don't sell the features, you don't sell the benefit, you sell the benefit of the benefit. So for instance, I'm looking at your windows behind there. The feature of those is that they're strong because they've got the bars across them so nobody can get in. The benefit of that is that you feel safe. But the real benefit to you is that you can do whatever you want in that situation, whatever it is, knowing that you've got security that nobody can come in through your windows, right? Now, I know it's a set, but the fact of the matter is that that's the benefit of the benefit. Once you talk to people through benefits of benefits, you're actually talking to, and I think my partner Lundy Jack did this with you on one of your shows, the 4 brains. But once you talk benefits of benefits, you're actually talking to their bird brain, their eagle brain, their super consciousness. And when you're talking to somebody's super consciousness, their analytical brain can't compete with that. Their analytical brain shuts down. So they're not going to ask, how many nuts and bolts or widgets does this thing have? Because they're focused in that eagle brain there. And that's the key to it. And it's fun. It's just asking people questions. It's not actually hard.
So there is only one thing. If you, as the person who sells, right?
Yep.
You call trying to get the meeting with them, right?
Okay. Yep.
How do you get them to qualify and say, hey, I want to work with you? like how do you explain it right? So there was something that you said that you have to qualify them back to yourself, right? So it's like,
Yeah, when you first meet them, yeah.
yes,
But but I know what you're asking. What you're asking is how do you get the meeting in the first place?
yeah, you get the, no, like once you get the meeting, then you sort of have to qualify them to say that, hey, they want your services, and now you choosing whether you want to work with them or not. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
a
I
bit
mean,
tricky.
again, it's psychology, right? Because here's what most poor salespeople do. They do this. They go, "Hi, Svetlana. I'd really like to thank you for the time that you're spending with me today." Right?
Mm.
Firstly, that makes you the alpha and me the beta in the deal. Okay. So I'm now coming to you like this, cup in hand, going, please fill my cup full of some money by the end of this. I'd much rather come to you and say, um, you live in London. You know, there are a million 30-something entrepreneurs living in London. So therefore, I have my choice of them. So I need you to tell me why I should be wasting my time even trying to solve your problems when there are potential clients out there that I could be better spending my time with. And I'll give you an example of this so you understand it. I was recently working, Lundy and I were recently working with the #1 real estate team in the world. I'll say that again, the #1 real estate team in the world, they're agents. And what we were talking about with them is I asked them a question, how long do you work with an average client for from start to finish? And the consensus was that it took 40 hours from start to finish. So my question was, why would you work with any clients where you're not going to make the top commission and they're not going to be easy and fun to deal with? Why would you even put yourself in that situation? Imagine spending 40 hours to earn not very much with people you don't like. Makes no sense, right?
Mm.
So therefore, as the salesperson, your role is not to try and sell the product to the client. Your role is to see if your client is good enough for you. And that puts an entirely different spin on things.
Mm. But then it's like, see, for me, it's a bit like, I think it would be easy if I could actually see it in action, because it's like because you come and you sort of offer to have a meeting to someone, right? So you kind of pre-qualify them or pitch to them sort of in advance to get that meeting. And then you say to them, why should I have this meeting with you, right?
Not quite.
No,
What
not
I've
quite, but
done,
along those
what
lines.
I've done is I've pitched to you the person that I haven't met to meet with me. But I'm interested to find out from you now, the person I am meeting, why you agreed to that. Why did you agree? There's a million things you could be doing right now. Why are you doing this?
Mm.
Because once you tell me that, I know your key buying motive and how motivated you are to buy. Then my decision becomes, do I actually like this person sitting in front of me? Do I want to deal with them? Are they the type of client that I want to have ringing me on Friday night at 5 o'clock, right? Or are they going to ring me on Friday night at 5 o'clock? That becomes my decision. If I think you're going to be a painful, troublesome client, then I'll move out of that thing. Thanks very much.
Mm.
I might even give you the answer. Go and do this. Or if I really don't like you, I'll send you to one of my competitors.
Mm. Right, I think I get it now. So first, like once you got the meeting, you ask, why did you agree? You find out why they agreed. Then you ask the rest of the questions because they already answered the first question. So they're going to
Yep.
start answering the rest of them. And then you figure out whether you want to work with this person or not. I got it.
Brilliant. A lot of psychology in here, folks, but the I want to leave you with three things because I know we're basically out of time. Number one is consciously make sure that the client qualifies themselves to you and that you're happy to deal with them. Not because of the money you'll make, because if you work with clients that you don't want to deal with, you'll make a lot less money than if you work with clients that you do want to deal with. And you're taking all your time working with people you don't like rather than giving that time to people you do like. Number one. Number two, you have to take them on a journey. And the only way to take them on a journey is they're not here to listen to you. They're there to talk about themselves. So ask them questions that enable them to get off their chest some of the issues that they've been holding closely, that they've not been able to get off their chest before. And number 3, when it's the right time there and you know that they're committed, ask their permission to show you what they've got, and ask them if they're in a position to make a decision at that point. And if they are, show them what you've got. And if they're not in a position to make a decision, don't show them.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much for all of this, Mike. And, thank you for letting me dig into your brain a
No
little.
problem.
It's been a lot of fun, and I really look forward to our next week's episode.
Ciao.